Hello, everyone. Today we are going over our severe weather outlook because today we have a very interesting day of severe weather. Let me pull that up before I forget. I'll go ahead and share the screen. So first we're going to go to the storm prediction weather. So here's where we're at for today. So here's today's outlook. We have a level 3 enhanced risk. 3 out of 5, today could get pretty bad. So our hail breakdown, we do have a chance of very large hail. Anywhere there's a yellow, even down here, there's yellow, we have a chance for tennis ball size hail, maybe baseball, depending on the storms. But also we have an enhanced risk for baseball sized hail. That would be the primary risk for that outline. Down here, chances are much lower. I would say still tennis ball could be a threat. Golf ball potential is higher. Down here in southern Texas. And then you have that marginal risk that goes all the way from the border southwest Texas all the way into almost north central Iowa. Des Moines is included in there. Lincoln, Nebraska, Omaha, Kansas City, Missouri, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And then your 15%, you have Wichita, Kansas, Lubbock, Toledo, Enid, Oklahoma, Hutchinson, Kansas. Which, if anyone knows, for Hutchinson, Kansas last year almost got hit by a very dangerous tornado. And this is the new format. There's 2 intensities. This is intensity level 1 or SIG 1. You have Lubbock, Amarillo, Midland, Lawton, Oklahoma, Odessa, Texas. That's not even everything. I mean, you're so close to the Oklahoma City area, right around here. But yeah, today's scattered severe thunderstorms are expected late this afternoon into tonight from northwest Texas into the Texas Panhandle into western Oklahoma and southern central Texas. Large to very large hail, few tornadoes, and severe damaging winds are possible. And here's your wind outlook. When you wind, we could see anywhere from 55 to 75 miles per hour, and even maybe a very scattered to few 80 mile per hour wind gusts in this area. My best is going to be right around this area into central Oklahoma into probably south central Kansas. I'll show you weather models here in a minute. And then today you have tornado risk, which there is a very small 10% SIG 1 outline, which that 10% is for Altus, Oklahoma. That's the biggest area of 55,000 people. And that slight risk. Now in here, 5%, which a strong tornado cannot be ruled out. Here, is it possible? Yes, my thought is exactly where they're thinking. Now I would even stretch that maybe out here just a bit. But yeah, this is a level 1 SIG for a few tornadoes and maybe even a strong tornado. That is today's risk outline, and then gonna head over here. This is your HRRR model run. Go back and share screen. Sharing, awesome. So we have the 18Z coming out right now. I'm gonna go to the 12Z and head down to here. Just currently currently what the HRRR thinks is out there. This is 19Z. A few storms, nothing severe yet. Again, this is where you have that 10% half risk. And then this is really your risk outline here. You go through the hours, and you see right around 6 we have a discrete supercell. This cell would be capable of that strong tornado risk. If this is surface-based, which is very potential with surface-based, and as it would push into Oklahoma, have a few more cells here, have some storms firing out in Texas. This is 9 p.m. Central. 9 p.m. Central. I'm not super familiar with time zones, but you see with this big blob of storms, this would be more of your hit risk. This could produce tornadoes. This would have the potential, less potential, but potential to drop a brief tornado. This is where you could see maybe another strong tornado in this around 9 p.m. Go to a 10, develops into more of a line segment, a cluster of thunderstorms producing hail, maybe an embedded tornado, maybe a spin up. Definitely would say the potential for strong tornadoes still there, but not as likely. Your STP values are very high. This is overnight. These storms continue to push through Oklahoma and Kansas, producing mainly damaging winds and hail, and maybe a brief tornado, but that tornado threat will die down. They weakened in the morning hours, and throughout the day Friday, it looks like pretty calm here again until we go into overnight into early morning Saturday, where you see some more thunderstorms. Now we go back. Here's our ingredients. You have here. Let's go to dew points. Dew points aren't going to be a problem. I mean, your dew points are going to be up here in the 60s, almost 70s for most of your risk line. Now now we go to convective. We have surface-based cape. Even right now, you're still probably, this is 2,000 joules per kilogram, which is very high. You see how storms are about to fire there. This is peak before things go basically nuclear. You have a little bit 3,000 right here, very high cape values. Your mid-level, your mean layer cape is also very high today. Is your supercell composite. Really, your ingredients are there around 6. You get those 5s, 4s, 6s, probably as high as 10. So yeah, see some 7s. And this is your tornado potential value. Yeah, to have better chances of tornadoes. Definitely be up here. The storms were. Through the night, there'll definitely be a chance for brief tornadoes. And then we'll get into this a little bit later. I should be able to get the 18Z if that's what it's saying now. Yes. Very similar data. Actually, a little less. But there's some 3s, 4s here. Definitely a chance for a strong tornado here. For anywhere from 5 to about 9 o'clock tonight. Depending on storm mode, definitely a chance for another strong potential. Yeah, some 3s, some 4s, and even some 5s. Here, all the way out here. Definitely not really a risk. Yeah, that's the outline for today. not super great. But I'd say for ending your risk really outlines from 5 to 6 p.m. tonight. Now, this is where the concerning part is. Heading back into here, we go to tomorrow. We have a large enhanced risk of about 6.2 million people, but also the slight risk of 22 million, the marginal 29 mil. This is your hell risk. Anywhere from central Wisconsin into southern Texas could see the chance of very large hail, anywhere from 3 to 3.5 inches in diameter. And that really is more on the enhanced risk. Anywhere from 2 to 2.5, 3 in the slight. I would say anywhere, even here in smaller part of Texas here. Let me put on cities. That'll help me a little bit. But you have some pretty major cities here. You have Rockford and the marginal slight risk, and the enhanced. You don't really have anywhere. I mean, you have Springfield. Okay, I really don't want this. Some major populated areas. And Topeka, Kansas, parts of Oklahoma City are in here. Very high populated areas. Davenport, Des Moines. And that slight risk for hail, for wind, that is more northern. That's a northern threat, where we could see anywhere from 65 to 75 miles per hour, maybe some brief. Now this is your tornado threat. Definitely strong tornado potential. EF2s are possible. I would not be shocked if they happen to go to intensity level 2, and maybe even a moderate risk for tomorrow. They expand the enhanced, or not the enhanced, they expand enhanced to cover more here. And put a moderate right here. This is the biggest outline, and even here, I'd say more here, where we could see a moderate risk of severe weather. The tornado threat is definitely on the table tomorrow. Gonna head back over here and go to share. And we do have parts of Friday. We're going to go to precipitation, simulated reflectivity. This is about 5 to 6 in the morning, Central Time. Big cluster of storms, nothing severe, maybe a few strong to severe, but I wouldn't say nothing terrible. So that's a big reason why a risk is still in question. Now, according to the HRRR, we're going to head back to the 12Z. Really has things clearing out, except for this cluster. This could be very stable, but you see how back in the west, we start getting a few severe storms, and even with some helicity tracks. But your big threat doesn't really hit eastern Iowa until around 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Your surface-based cape, really high. Out here, still about 1,000. But here's the big thing. Here are your STP values. I mean, you have some 6s, some 8s, probably some 10s are in here. I mean, there's your 7.9. Lots of 3s and 4s. Even up here, almost 2s and 3s. Here in Iowa. Very significant day ahead of us. Some very high supercell composites, 10s, 11s. if things keep uptrending, and which I mean they've uptrended. I'll give you the NAM. See, this is the more concerning part. If the NAM model plays out, things are clear. And yes, there's some rain and stuff up here. Things are relatively clear. See some very intense storms out there tomorrow. This is what it's currently at right now. I can't say I'll be guaranteed to cover this later today, but we already have. I mean, there's a few storm chasers out here already. You have Brandon Kopic, Brett Adair, and even Jaden Pepperheim. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. But these guys are out chasing right now. There's going to be thousands of other chasers. I recommend going to Max Velocity. He's a great guy. Great guy. But even you can see it here. I mean, they're right in here. It's a very significant day ahead of us. Very populated. But here's some cities that are in today's risk: Altus, Oklahoma, Childress, Hollis, Medham, Hobart, New Cordell, Archipel, Elk City, Sayre, Cheyenne, Canadian, Pampa, some bigger names. Very populated. Lubbock, Texas, and the slight risk. Wichita, Kansas. And if anyone knows what happened here, this is Plevna, Kansas. Had that large tornado that rolled through. Topeka, Kansas City, Des Moines, Omaha, Lincoln, all in this Fort Dodge, Sauk City, Sioux City. And tomorrow, I mean, your risk is affecting millions of people. But see, there's really nothing out here. Nothing's really slowing this down. Clouds, some pretty big clouds here. But like you look in your big main risk area, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of clouds here. Which is a big concern. This is the storm I'm really concerned about if this happens. But that's the coverage I wanted to give to you guys. I know it's nothing crazy. I'm new to this. You guys have a great rest of your day.